Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my flipping series where I'm trying to earn a max pay-to-play set starting from only 1 GP. This is probably one of the loftiest goals I've ever set myself, as a max pay-to-play set is incredibly expensive, with some of the equipment pieces today being worth over max cash, some of them being worth maybe 3 or 4 bill. So we obviously have a lot of work ahead of us, and we're gonna have to pull out every strategy I can think of to have any chance of ever reaching that goal, but I really do think eventually we can do it. As always guys, if you are enjoying the series, I always appreciate it if you actually subscribe to my channel. I would love to hit 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So just have a quick look if you're not subscribed, really appreciate it. Anyway guys, let's get started. Now, in the last episode, we finished off at around 158 mil. I now feel like we're finally in a position to start really ramping up how much money we make per day and how much money we make per month. I mean, to a point, the more money we have, the more money we're going to end up making. There isn't really a limit to how much money we could potentially make per day, and I think that's a really encouraging thought because we, well, have a long way to go. So it is around noon on March 14th, and we're going to be gone for a large majority of the days. We're going to be putting in a few really slow flips. For example, we're going to try flipping the Dragon Kite Shield, the Tormented Ornament Kit, the Dragon Plate Body Ornament Kit, and the Ring of Nature. Okay, so later today, we're going to be whipping out one of my super secret strategies. I mean, it's not definitively mine, but what we're actually going to be doing is buying Briofita's Essence off the Grand Exchange, combining them with a Battle Staff to make a Briofita's Staff, and pocketing all of the profit. This is a really good transformative flip, and to do it properly, I do need access to my main account. Now, I have allowed the use of alt accounts in the series. For now, that's just going to pertain to using my main occasionally to combine a few items for me. It is still, of course, just going to be a flip, so at worst, it'll just take me 30 seconds to, for example, convert these Briofita's Essence into Briofita's Staffs. There are just a few niche flips that I may actually need my main account for. So right now, at least we're looking to make around 200k in profit per Briofita's Essence that we create, which I think is definitely worth it. Not to mention, we actually ended up getting 650k in profit on the Tormented Ornament Kit and 400k on the Occult Ornament Kit. So over $1 million in profit, that is pretty damn exciting. Okay, I gotta say that worked extremely well. We ended up getting a margin of 330k per Briofita's Essence that we combined, so that's 990k in profit just on 3 of them. Not to mention, we also got around 700k in profit on the Dragon Kite Shield, so just a lot of money made all around. Now, what I really love about transformative flips is that once you have bought the precursor item, for example, the Essence, I can combine it into the Briofita's Staff. I could probably instantly sell it and still make a really good profit. Because you are transforming it into another item, the margins aren't usually directly comparable, and you don't have to worry about your sell price as much. So I am definitely going to continue on trying to buy more of the Briofita's Essence. The only drawback, of course, is the item is extremely rare. You can only get it from the Moss Giant boss, which not a lot of people kill, and you can't farm it anyway because you have to collect Mossy keys, so it is a fairly rare item. But you know what? We're making do. Okay, I have a couple really awesome things to show you. First up here, we actually ended up flipping Twisted Horns. I know, kind of out of fashion now, but that was 700k in profit there. Something really strange happened to the Ring of Nature. We ended up getting a 600k profit per ring, which means 1.2 million profit just on the Rings of Nature. That is insane. The market is still extremely volatile thanks to the new wiki data update. So now that third-party websites are finally updating with the new information, things are definitely going to be more competitive, but for now we are making a lot of money. Now, something really weird happened. I actually ended up instantly buying the Cape of Skulls for an extremely cheap price. We ended up buying them for around 11.1 mil, and I think they're actually worth closer to 11.8 mil or something like that. Occasionally something like that will happen, but less and less now that we have the new data. Now, normally when I instantly buy something by accident, and it wasn't just a big mistake on my part, like I put in the wrong number, I will normally just stick to my guns and put it back in at the original price I'd hoped to, because more often than not, it's just a quick anomaly in the price and it will normally just go right back up again. Now, to accompany the Cape of Skulls, I'm also going to try buying the Gilded Scimitars for around 15.6 mil and Swift Blades. So let's see how those work. Man, I am on a roll right now. We have just been making so much money on pretty much every single item. I mean, this Gilded Scimitar flip, 1.2 million profit just on that. The Cape of Skulls that we instantly bought yesterday, 1.3 million profit on that. The Swift Swords we just got 400k on, and the Briofita's Staff, that is another 580k on that. Just a ton of money made on a wide variety of different items. So far, things are looking very promising with the new data. Converting the Bria Fita's essence has now become one of my more consistent flips. Obviously, it's not quick, however, there's very little competition over it. So with the current time, I'm pretty much buying up all of them that come into the game. So I'm definitely continuing on with that. Usually I only put an offer in for around 5 at a time because they're so slow to come through. There's no point wasting money in that offer slot that's not really necessary. So right now we're on quite a roll, everything is turning up positive, we're making a ton of money, so let's just see how far I can push this. Well, I cannot reiterate this enough, but so far I've been having a lot of luck on these kind of mid-ranged rare items. I mean, this is something I'm really comfortable flipping anyway, mainly because there's not as much competition and it requires very little effort. But even with the wiki pricing, it still seems to work fairly well. Now, surprisingly, on this random item, the Volcanic Whip Mix, I ended up making nearly 1.4 mil in profit. We managed to get a 200k margin on it, and we did 7 of them. So quite good on that one. We also ended up getting 900k on the Staff of Balance. And finally here we also ended up getting 700k on the Dragon Kite Shield. A slow item, but with really good margins usually, and not that much competition. Now generally I'm looking for rare items, but not those that are so rare that you don't really end up buying any. A few items that I think kind of fall into that category are the Evil Chicken Head. It has a good margin, but nobody ever gets this item, it's so rare. Same thing with the Ward Upgrade Kit. Not that many people buy it from LMS or wherever you get it from, so you definitely need to keep in mind the volume of the item, or else you'll just end up with a wasted offer slot and a bunch of wasted time. Okay, so we were patient and we waited for everything to sell off. We're getting quite a decent margin on pretty much everything. We ended up getting about 900k in profit on the Gilded Armor set. We just directly flipped them, which is kind of funny. Everything else was fairly minor, but including the last item we have to sell off here, we're at around 193 mil, I think. Now, one item I've kind of wanted to try for a while is the Volatile Orb. That's going to take pretty much all of my money, but we just now have enough money to try it out for the first time. So we're going to try buying the Volatile Orb for 172.6 mil and just totally wing it. Well, we had absolutely no luck on the Volatile Orb. I guess it was actually valued quite a bit higher than what was listed. I'm not really sure about that one, so we're actually going to pivot into a completely different idea here. We're going to try doing an item set combination for the Justiciar armor set, something I used to do a lot in my Twisted Bow flipping series, but I think it's actually even got more practical as the item's price has declined throughout the years. Right now we're getting nearly a 300k margin per item set combination. Now I think we can go ahead and afford, 5 of all of the individual pieces, and we're going to combine those together for around a 1.5 mil profit, hopefully. Alright, so only around 20 minutes later, and we did manage to buy all of the precursor items. Now, similar to any other combination set flip, we're just going to go here to item sets, go down to Justiciar, pack them all together, and then of course we're going to dump them back on the Grand Exchange for a nice profit. Well, there we go, guys. Just like that, we ended up making a 1.5 mil profit, although we do have to keep in mind that I did end up price checking it, so actually only a 1.2 mil profit. But still, I will take that. And after that last flip, we actually are now brought up a bit over 200 mil to 201.8 mil. That is extremely exciting. We're now only 1/5 of the way to a bill, and at that point, we're only 1/10 of the way to our goal. But as always, we got to take this in small steps. So the Justiciar armor set combination worked really well. However, I don't think we can do it again yet as we already hit the buy-in limit for it. So we're going to pivot into another item set combination, one I have done before, and that would be the Gilded D'hide set combination. Now I have found this to be a little bit more challenging now with the new pricing information. Previously you'd be able to put in an offer for 3 or 4 of them and they would eventually fill. However, now you do get undercut on the individual pieces very quickly, which means it's a kind of a pain to do a slow item set combination like this. With that said, we're going to give it another try. We should also be able to do another 3 of the Justiciar armor set combinations, and as we've already spent the money to check the limit, we might as well do it again, and we pretty much instantly bought all of it. That's kind of interesting, but well, it's too late now. Okay, so once again, we took advantage of a couple of our standard items. We got another 800k on a Dragon Kite Shield. That item has just been working so well for us right now. And we're also getting currently around a 600k profit per armor set combination we're making for the gilded items. That's very nice as well. So overall, things are quite positive. Oh boy, guys, I gotta show you something here. This is our biggest loss so far, and it's on the 3rd age plate skirt. I kind of freaked out here, probably my fault. 3rd age items are so incredibly volatile right now. For some reason, they are shooting up in price. Just my luck, of course, but we ended up selling the 3rd age plate skirt for 86 mil. And oh my god, don't even want to show you guys, but we ended up buying this, where is it, down here somewhere, for 94.5 mil, which means we ended up losing 8.4 mil on that. By far our biggest loss of the series. I'm kind of a dumbass though, so we're gonna go ahead and try to buy another one for 71 mil to try to get our money back here. So probably for the best, but we didn't end up buying the 3rd age plate skirt. We did end up making another 900k on the Staff of Balance, which is pretty nice. And we are trying another flipping technique here. We are actually going to try to combine Odium wards. Now, once again, I will have to use my main account for this, but it is very quick to combine them. And currently we're getting around 300k in profit per Odium shard that I combine. Right now, we're actually nicely buying an even amount of all of them. We're going to shoot for 10 though before I go for a combination. Oh man, I'm still kind of reeling from that loss. That just wiped out like 2 days of work or something. Now surprisingly, we actually had a very good flip on red Chinchompas. I've been kind of experimenting, attempting to guess the dip in price that happens overnight. Some people call it like bot dump flipping. I'm not really sure if it's bots, but we ended up buying a bunch of Chinchompas for around 70 GP under market. So we actually just ended up making 500k on a flip like that. Quite good. Not to mention we also ended up with 9 Briafida's Essence, which were pegged to make a lot of money on. Okay, so we finally have enough of the Odium shards. I'm going to transfer them over to my main account. We'll go ahead and combine them. Hopefully I don't die while I'm doing it, and I'll be back in a flash. So we ended up selling off all of the Briafida's staffs for around a 200k margin, which means on all of them we ended up making 1.8 mil in profit. Truly amazing. The Odium wards we ended up getting a 300k profit on, which means on the Odium wards we ended up with a 2.1 mil profit. Incredibly good for the amount of work that took. And we also ended up with around a 800k profit on that gilded item. I mean, just a lot of money across the board. I think we actually managed to recover from that loss already. So that's exciting. I mean, someday I'm definitely gonna have to learn how to flip 3rd age items correctly. But right now, I mean, they're just so volatile. With no new content coming out in combination with their prices being a lot more transparent than ever before, it's just a crazy time out there. Now in the top of our offer slots here, we just have more of the same. We ended up with a 900k profit on that one Staff of Balance, so that's incredibly good, and 1.4 mil in profit on the Swift Blade. Very happy with that one. However, you might have noticed in the bottom slot, I'm actually trying to buy a really interesting item, and that would be a Spectral Sigil. I know there is often a fairly good margin just by creating the sigils. I again would have to transfer it over to my main account, as there is a prayer level requirement to make it, but I definitely want to give that a shot. So there we go, we ended up buying a Spectral Sigil for 66.5 mil, and we need to combine that with a Blessed Spirit Shield. And at the current prices, we're getting around a 900k profit per combination. That's very good. Obviously, Spectral Sigils are not very common, but even if we bought like 3 or 4 of those in a day, that would be a really good profit. And there's no real limit to how many times you can do this, as there's not really a buy limit on the Spectral Sigil. And once you combine them, you can pretty much instantly sell it because the Spectral Spirit Shield is very in market and there's quite a bit of liquidity, so you're not really going to end up losing much just by insta-selling it. Well, there we go. That is a successful Spirit Shield sold off for a 758k profit. I'm really happy with that one, and we're going to keep it in mind going forward. One big benefit of the new pricing data is we don't ever have to price check the spectral sigil. We can just go ahead and guess it, and we'll probably be fairly accurate. Well, there we go, guys. Quite a few hours later, but that is another successful flip on the Spectral Spirit Shield using the combination technique of buying the actual sigil. We actually ended up making 950k in profit on that one, even more than the first one. To be fair, that did take quite a while, but let's see if we can fit in one more today. Well, just before I was getting ready to finish for the day, another one came through, and we ended up selling it for another 900k profit, which is amazing. Just on this item today, we ended up making around 2.5 million profit. Not to mention we flipped quite a few other items today. So after everything is said and done and we pulled out our offers, we are actually up to 220 mil, which is crazy considering this is only 2 weeks of progress. And also considering we lost like 8 mil in a single transaction. We did extremely well in the last couple weeks of March. So anyway, guys, that is where I'm going to end it for today. Just in this episode, we ended up making 62 mil in profit in only 2 weeks, which is incredibly good. I hope we can keep this up going into the future. My main goal is just to try to continually earn more money per week, more money per day, and more money per month. And we're going to try not to focus on how damn expensive third age items are getting. But things can't go up in price forever, right? And hopefully eventually they'll come crashing down. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Now, before I go here, as always, I want to give a big shout out to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to Cappy, Colin Corley, Timothy Chen, Wolf of the Hunt, Guy Fox, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. You guys are truly amazing. Thank you as always. Also a giant shout out to Lord Dojin, All Things Gaming, Yo-Yo Sup, Need My Pills, Branton Griffin, Birdbot, and Base Titch for being subscribed at the Runite tier. And as always, if you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can get immortalized in all of my future videos, get access to my video release schedule, and of course, get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time.